as you said, I'm a matchmaker. Very unusual because I was like, do I have to find two wives?
Okay, double trouble, double work.
Yeah, painful subject. Where do you find
and big
them?
challenge.
Yes.
So it's a really sensitive point. Hello, today we on WGG podcast, and today we have a really interesting conversation with Alla, the matchmaker. Hello, Alla.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself for our audience. What is your business here in Dubai? And yeah, that's it.
Well, not only in Dubai, but as you said, I'm a matchmaker. And I'm running a dating agency because one matchmaker can only do a little bit, right? But if we are a big team of people, we can help many more people. And I'm Ukrainian. I started back in Ukraine. Somehow we have less men than women. So every woman would want to find a man. And we helped women in Ukraine to find men abroad for serious relationship, for marriage. And then about 10 years ago, I moved to live in Mexico. Randomly. And the thing is that wherever I go, as soon as I start talking about what I do, that I, do
it's
dating
really
coaching, do matchmaking
topic,
and everything, people just immediately start being interested and they always find me clients. Like I really don't have to search for clients. They always say, oh, I have a sister, she wants to get married. Or I have my best friend, she's so single, she cannot find anyone, can you help her? So that way I started in Mexico and now we're, a big team helping hundreds and hundreds of people there. And I ended up here in Dubai about 2 years ago, basically just for business setup and stuff like that for my Mexican company. But while I was here, meeting people again, and I love people. For me, networking is not just, meeting people for any kind of benefits, but it's just nice. Every person has a very nice story to tell. So that's why I love traveling, meeting new people, new cultures. And in Dubai, the place, right? So diverse, that everybody was telling me how difficult dating is here. And
in Dubai
especially, yeah, due to many reasons. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay here for myself, and I was single at that time, and I'm gonna see how difficult it is. And somehow in a month I ended up with a boyfriend.
Oh.
So I was like, wait, is it that difficult? But then, of course, with the time, I figured out what are the difficulties. And the thing is that I think I have a solution for that, since I could help myself, right? If people just keep doing what's working, it's going to work. Because while I was going to so many networking events, I met a lot of people complaining that dating is horrible, but they want to date someone. It's not like everybody says, oh, it's hard to find someone who wants a relationship. But I know these people in person. But I was like, there are men who do want relationship. There are women who do want a relationship, but they cannot meet for some reason. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to help them meet. I'm going to connect them. Why not,
Cupid.
right? So it's like long story short, that's how it happened. It just happened naturally. I didn't come to Dubai to like, okay, I'm going to open a matchmaking agency here, period. It just happened naturally.
Okay, so, and what is the main problem? What is the main problem that you're helping to solve them? Like they can't find each other. They doesn't understand where they can find each other or what the problem is.
The problem is, first of all, a lot of fear. I think Dubai creates the image of people who are not very serious about relationship, even though I believe it's not like that. But it's also lack of communication because of that fear. Because if I want to say that I want a relationship, I'm not going to, because I'm afraid that the other person will say, I don't want anything, but you kind of like them. So you start like dating, maybe seeing them for a while without really, talking it out loud, what it is exactly that you want. So it's usually that fear that holds people back. And then, of course, a lot of bad experiences, they create the fear again, because
everywhere.
yes, but I feel like it has the right to exist here in Dubai, because in the very beginning of, popularity of this city, many people just came for a few years, never stayed. It was very transient. It keeps being that, but less. From what I have seen, many people do settle down here, get mortgages. They actually live here, right? Not just invest in the property. They find really good jobs. They plan on having families here. There's so many more schools for children and so many different things that are actually for the long-term stay, right? Plus all the golden visas now more possible and stuff like that. So I feel like even though that fear from the past is still here, like a big cloud, it's not really that anymore. And this is what people should know right now. And I think this part of my mission is actually to show people that there are serious people. You just have to come to my events and meet them. Easy.
Yeah, good, very good. So and now the main goal is to meet them. So like kind of speed dating events to give them the solution to find, for example, 1 hour in weekdays and just come to event and find someone.
Exactly, because
to meet someone.
Since Dubai is very much work-oriented city, a lot of people come here for work, right? So most of the time they just work. This is what they do. Maybe go to the gym, sometimes just to keep themselves healthy, but not really much fun. When you go to dating events or when you use dating agency or a matchmaker, you save yourself a lot of time. That's what is usually, that's why most of our clients are, busy professionals that have no time to waste in a way, because you can go randomly on dates and also feel like you've wasted a couple of hours of your day and you should have better, read a book.
So this was my next question. So just who is people with whom you work? So like who is like these ladies and men's?
Well, interestingly, from all the marketing campaigns that we have done and we saw everyone interested, to be honest, it's so diverse. And this is one of the challenges of doing business in Dubai, that the consumer market is so big, is so diverse, that I think every businessman has to really focus first on who they're gonna target. Especially because we target the need that is very universal for any human being, independently of culture, gender, religion, anything. We all want to connect. Yes. This is our basic need, right? So, and that was my path. That first we were like doing the advertisement and we saw, oh my God, everybody wants it, but we cannot just handle everybody. So we had to focus on certain things, right? And probably right now, of course, I would focus more on people who really need it the most. First of all, not those who think, oh, I might marry, might want to have a relationship at some point, but those people who are ready, who actually struggle and respond to this, painful messages better. They can really, feel it. So usually it's people who are quite up in their career, so they're busy. And when they're busy, they value their time, and that is why they don't want to go on 10 dates. And sometimes they don't know how to choose. Not always we know exactly, because very often with my clients is that who they want is not who they need for the relationship. Because certain things may not really be important for the relationship. Like if they want someone, I don't know, like all the women, we want tall, very tall guys, right? But does it really matter if he's 175 or 182 for the relationship long term? No, it's more
Like
the
in that
personality,
song.
it's more lifestyle and other things, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes people are so fixated on certain things that are like, okay, so not to waste time with all the things, we first clean up
Okay.
their
Yeah.
request, right? We figure out who they need and we choose the people who
Kind
are
of core of
exactly
needs.
yes
Okay.
yes. So it saves a lot of time because they maybe go 2 3 5 dates maximum. But then I know some girls went here, I don't know, 50 dates a year or something like this.
Oh
You
my
know, it's
God.
like, it's, imagine how much time it is.
Yeah, that's crazy. Even I am don't have such amount of time. It's time for me
Yeah.
to go to the gym, to go out with friends or something, or just or for self development.
Yeah.
Yes, and okay, she has that amount of time.
No, but information and time are two very valuable assets that
Yeah.
we have, and we don't want to waste them. That is why I feel like my business is solving that problem. First of all, it's faster, and second of all, it's just better choices. You know, which
Yeah.
also goes to more probability of success. Because if you just randomly go with everyone who you met at the bar, or I don't know, even at work events, at conferences, right? People meet here at different places, but you don't know who they are. And physical attraction is important, but it's only a little part of the success of the relationship. So only based on that you cannot really rely.
Yeah. And what is it's a really sensitive topic, really sensitive. I can say business it's itself, because there are a lot of stereotypes and
Yes.
misconceptions. Okay, can you just share what the stereotypes and misconceptions you faced here and in Mexico as well?
You know, it's totally different because
Okay.
the reality of two countries is different. And I guess I'll start with Mexico because it's in the past we've fought it for quite a while because unfortunately there is a problem of human trafficking in Mexico. And when we started attracting Latin American women, Mexican women, offering them husbands from the United States, they have it the term there, trata de blancas, which is like human trafficking, but like basically white, like you sell white girls in a way.
Oh my God.
So we had to really explain people, and the only way you can do it is just by showing results, right? By
Yeah.
who you are, by gaining your reputation. So that was a long path, and at first we had all the success stories, but people didn't want to share it because they were
It's something
kind of
special.
ashamed, and you know,
Yeah.
like why would everyone be like will know that I actually use the dating agency, and then the dating agency that sounds like human trafficking, you know.
Oh my God.
Thank God right now we have all our clients being on our Instagram, YouTube channel, you know, and they share their success, and it's way easier for us. And not anymore. We actually used to receive this indirect messages all the time. Are you selling people? Is that human trafficking?
Oh my
We
God.
had to make a post on Instagram like this, big.
Pinned
We
post.
are not
Yeah.
you know, human traffic. That's it.
That's crazy. That's
interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, but that's Mexico because the reality there is one thing.
Yeah.
Here, unfortunately, or fortunately, because, you know, there is a supply, there is a demand for everything. And there is this concept here of a lot of women chasing men with the money, right? And getting that money
Like gold
in
diggers.
different ways. Yes, or sometimes working girls. I call them freelancers usually. Right? But we all know what we talk about. So unfortunately, a lot of guys, when I talk about matchmaking to them, they think I just offer them girls like, you know, for the night or for the day or so, like whatever,
Okay.
right? So that is because there's a lot of this here. And the only thing I can do is just to say, no, it's not this, because, you know, I don't do this, I do this. And just stand at, you know, for
Yeah.
your reputation and whatever else. But, I mean, every kind of business can exist. You know, if there is a demand, there will always be a supply of that.
Well, yes, yes.
It just, every single person or businessman, we always choose basically more on our mission, right? Because any kind of business that we do, it's connected to what we want to change in this world, what we want to make better, right? And me, for example, I came here and I started hearing all the stories of people not being able to connect. And I don't say that the matchmaking service is only for marriage. Not necessarily someone being very young, just very new in Dubai, they want to get married. But they still want someone to probably come back home together, you know, talk about their long, stressful day, or go to the restaurant together and have a nice lunch, or even breakfast, whatever. Go to the beach, right? When the weather is really nice here.
Yeah.
It's like something to ease your mind and feel peaceful inside. That's what you need another person for. So it doesn't have to be marriage. It has to be just a nice, healthy relationship, which will help every single human being who's very focused on work. It will help them excel at work as well. When we do well in our relationship, we also do well in all the other areas of our life.
Yeah, really grateful. Yeah,
just
thank you for your business. Okay, it was misconceptions from like kind of men's and okay, I need a girl for like short-term relationships.
Yes.
But what is girls' misconceptions or stereotypes?
Interestingly, with the girls, I have no problem.
Really?
If I tell a girl I can find you a boyfriend or I can find you a husband, she's like, I'm ready.
Okay. Really?
Yes. Usually there's no like secondary questions, second guesses from the women's side. I feel for the women in my kind of business, there's more necessity for them to settle down. So they see it as an opportunity, you know, and they take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, and now you're, let's turn our conversation into the marketing part. I think, how does your marketing works right now? I mean, for example, how do you find your clients? Yes, okay, it's referrals, because you're too active person. Yes, you meet people every day. Yes, and how does it work? So in general, so just by different like pieces of pie, like, okay, here is traffic, here is my connections, here's, for example, business clubs or something. How does it work?
For now, everything works slowly, little by little, piece by piece, because I definitely started here with myself, my personal brand, and that's what when I came to WGG as well, I said, okay, I do have a big company in Mexico, but that name is not really gonna do anything here. So it makes sense to build trust, build reputation of myself as a matchmaker, first of all, right? And that is why in the very beginning I was going out a lot to different events, different private social clubs, business clubs, everything, just telling people that it exists, right? So that they not necessarily saying that, okay, you need to use my services, but just like in case you know someone or stuff like that.
You started to build your reputation, your personal reputation, and to build your business on your personal brand. So
it is an amazing way, but it's limiting because there's only one Alla.
Yes,
there's only one Alla. I cannot clone myself. I wish I could, right? And that is why. What else? Of course, marketing agency, running campaigns, and this is how I also buy I consume a lot of products, right? When I see them on Instagram, for example, and it's not necessarily bad because sometimes I talk to my phone what I need so that it shows me the ads.
Yes.
So that I don't even do the work and search, that's it.
I can't.
So why not?
Nobody still can. Everyone still can imagine how does it work. Even we are, because we don't have this kind of tools, obviously, in our like advertising manager or something. For example,
which is a shame.
Yes, nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's just kind of meta algorithms and so on.
Yeah.
So, and for example, not so far. I had a discussion with my friend about, okay, I want to buy a suit, probably Hugo Boss or something. Yes, I just looked for, and I found one that I really like. Okay, and I had a small conversation about it. So what do you think? Next day, I see it in my Instagram, like what? Okay, fine. Please show me this tool, because there are no tools
Yes.
like this, but it's mostly about your behavior in social media. Probably somewhere I just searched, found it in Instagram, probably liked something, and forgot about it 100%. Of course,
Yeah.
if you don't remember what you did yesterday, so and same things, and it works like that. So and you think that, okay, I just thought, I didn't pronounce it or something, and it's just appeared, and that this is exactly what I need.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, it's always
But
behavior.
honestly, these marketing tools are super powerful. And I have seen it myself with the company in Mexico, right? When we were just building the awareness of the people,
Yeah.
not even selling anything,
just
just
brand
showing our
awareness.
ad. Yes, yeah,
Okay.
just to make sure that people see. It's like, okay, they've seen one ad, second one, they got curious, maybe they started following us, but we're not selling them yet anything, right?
Okay.
We're just like showing success stories or like explaining the process and stuff. But then when we gathered that audience, that was so much easier to sell, and
They
there's
already
I
know
cannot
you.
even think of any other tool that can speak as loud and to so many people as marketing tools, existing right now, especially in social media, right?
Yeah.
How popular it is. And even organically in the social media, you can create such content that will go viral, and
Yeah.
people will get to know about you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and now let's it's the next question about your content. So, how did you start your content creation? I mean, and what is the difference now between when you started and where are you now? I mean, in the content creation, I mean, also the point is what your expectation were that time.
Well, I guess my thought was that I can do it myself. So I took 100 courses, right, on Reels, on whatever. But honestly, if I was to do it again, I would hire someone and just help me do everything. Because when you're by yourself, you kind of also rely only on yourself and your,
Experience.
energy as well, and motivation. When you have a team working with you and they keep you accountable as well. Because for me, the biggest problem was not only sit in front of the camera, like now I can do it fine.
Okay.
At the beginning, of course, it was more challenging. But then it's just consistency, it's discipline.
Oh yeah, it's the most difficult
Honestly,
part.
for me, that was because I would post every day for 2 months, and then I just disappear for 3 months, And only when you have to be so consistent and patient, because not always you post something and it goes viral.
Yeah.
But you need some reward. You need something, to be motivated to keep going there. So it's still been going well, because most of my, followers, they were like commenting on things and saying, oh, you're such an amazing, content. I laugh at your videos, for example. They're so useful. Oh my God, I have a friend. I sent her your video, or once I went to a nice, business party, but on a boat. And there was a girl, she's like, I came out to this party because of you, because of your reel, because I posted a reel where I was saying that if you want to meet someone, you have to get out of your house.
Yes.
You cannot sit at home and
Yes.
complain you're single.
I am.
And she's like, oh my God, I saw that video and I came out to this boat party.
Yeah. Did she found someone?
I don't know, to be honest, but that was one of the highlights of
Okay.
this content creation journey, that
Yeah.
if I can influence even one person's life in better way somehow doing that, After that, I remember I was like posting and posting more and more.
Yeah, this is so you see, and it's always like that when you start just even by yourself, right? Just because you want to go through it, understand how does it work, and probably you will hire someone to do this job, and you can at least control it and understand how does it work. So, but anyway, when you start, you just you need to go through it, and it's kind of evaluation, you see. So just because sometimes in the beginning it might be not the best content ever, right? Posts, or when you're just sitting in front of camera in the beginning and you feel awkward or something. Oh my God, I said something wrong. I need to repeat it, and it's repeat, and it's. When you're doing it, it's kind of disaster. You just, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, calm down within a 3 months or something.
Yeah.
But after some time, when you start to get, okay, it's evaluation. And after you start to get some respond, for example, okay, 1 comment, 2 comment, 1 direct message, and then more and more and more. So, and in a long term, you get, okay, a big response, and it's also kind of motivation to do it more 100%. And more. Yeah, because when you see, okay, this is response, this is kind of payback of attention of your audience, right? So, and this thing is like burn in our hearts this energy to go and to do more.
But it's everything new that we start. We have to have a little patience.
Yes, and also it's when you went through these difficulties in the beginning, you see how does your content has been changed in general, right? So you see, okay, was the post. Okay, so I wrote something. Okay, it's something, let's hide it. Okay, but now I have a really interesting content. And it's also about the brands, not only about personality. Because if you just scroll down any brand, you will see what the difference.
Exactly.
Yes, and it's really interesting. You can understand the evaluation and, how business, how brand, how personal brand can move on, what has been changed, and what decision did he make to be like right now, right? To be like, okay, he is big right now, but in the beginning he was like this. So it means it's a real life, because you see, we also struggle with like thoughts that, okay, everything will be just like that, because I hate this kind of content when people, okay, I just made 1 reels, or somebody made 1, 2, 3 reels, and okay, I got million followers, million views, and now I'm a rich man and the best of the best. Yes, and people think that it's realistic, unfortunately, and we're just struggling that, okay, it's a system work, because we need to show how does it work. It's a system work. Yes, you will face with a huge amount of difficulties. Like, okay, even Facebook Advertising Manager. Facebook Advertising Manager can also doesn't work sometimes because he doesn't want, and you can nothing do with it. Okay, and if we're talking about content creation now, what tools do you use now for your personal brand? For what does work for you right now? And how?
Mainly, it is Instagram. Everything that is, posts, reels, there. Still, any kind of reels, they do work. People do consume that content. I haven't started yet. I also need to start my podcast. And that's what I've been told so many times, that people actually like this kind of conversations. And I have so much experience. It's been more than 15 years I've been working in this industry, right? So how many stories I have, I don't even know.
Okay, so will you share something with us?
Those things are just experiences, right? And each story teaches you something. So for me, each story has a lesson. And those are the things that I would love to share with anyone, because usually this is even I have this story when I just met a few girls for the first time in my life, like through a friend of a friend, and we were talking, just sitting at the table like this and talking about dating. Of course, we were talking about men. And the girl was like, oh my God, this conversation is so interesting. We should be recording it, and putting it as a podcast, because it's just, this is what matters to people, right? What we feel like, what we think about certain things, because now all this information gives us also the chance to create our own opinion, right? And somehow navigate the world better with all this information. So all these tools, like podcasts especially, they do help us to find certain information that we need right in the moment.
Okay, so if we're talking about stories, can you share, for example, 2 stories, one unrealistic that you cannot believe that, okay, oh my God, that's incredible or something?
Okay, well, for someone, probably it's unrealistic, but for me, it's like a dream story because of, I'm a matchmaker. And I think that the better we choose the partners, the shorter period of time they need to decide to actually be together.
Yeah,
right?
Obviously.
Because we've done most of the work for them. And that was actually last year in one of the events, because we organize dating events also in Mexico. So one of the men who traveled there for the event, he met a woman on the event, and within a week that he was in Mexico City, he already called our manager and was like, guys, where are the stores and everything to go and buy a ring?
Oh,
they're married by now.
Oh my God, how?
They're married. He proposed in a week. But, interesting how they did this. It's not just like he saw her and whatever, right? So matchmaking usually has a lot of questions for you, for anyone who's
want to join.
Clients. Yes, because this is how we can help a person better when we get to know them. And what he did also, he created a list of questions. This is what we help our people do, our clients do, right? That they need to figure out what is important for them, and whether that person in front of them can give it to them. And vice versa. They need to know what's important for them and whether they are capable or not, to become a good partner for them. So this is what they did for the entire week. They were on dates, talking, answering those questions.
Oh.
Interesting. Like
interview.
Yes, interview, but I guess this is already the level of maturity of 2 people.
Yeah.
That they are ready. And also it saves so much time. Just have 5 dates, ask, 20 important questions, right? And those are the questions that sometimes people being in a relationship for 2 years, they don't even talk about those things yet.
5 years, 7 years,
and then
10
they
years.
Find it out and break up.
Yeah.
So not to make it happen, right? It's better to discuss everything. So this is what happened. He liked her. She liked him. They discussed everything. They liked the answers. And he's like,
okay, why not?
What am I going to wait for?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, she's at the agency, so which means she's going to go on other dates because probably other men will like her too.
Competition.
Yes, yeah, wise man,
Yeah, very nice. Okay.
But this is a weird story in a way, because in the normal life, it's not really common, right, for people to do that.
Yes, you see, because it can scare you. For example, if for example, I meet someone and after 5 days he's propose me, of course I'm like, what? Yeah. No, it scares me because probably something wrong.
If it happens just out of nowhere, out of the blue moon, of course, yes.
Yeah.
But when 2 people said, okay, I'm searching for someone to create a family with, right? And she says, me too. Okay, to do that, we need to figure out our compatibility. Let's figure out, okay, do you want to live here or you want to move somewhere? Even for people here, even when I was going on dates, sometimes I meet someone and he tells me, I don't really want to be in Dubai. My family moved to Australia, and in a couple of years, I plan to be in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. You know, like it's good we're talking about this because I don't want to be in Australia. I want to live in Dubai, right?
Yeah.
So I want to focus on a relationship with someone who is here as well. And this guy, like nobody's saying to talk about children or whatever else, you know, but even this kind of things, they're super important.
And super
Yes.
basic.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like how much time for the relationship you have, right? Like how often would you like to see me? Once a week? Maybe we spend the weekend together and we don't see each other during the week, or we maybe meet sometimes, not necessarily we go out on a, you know, long date or something. We just, you know, meet at home, watch a movie, go sleep, you know, like just that. So that is important because we cannot read our minds, you know. No,
Yeah.
like I cannot read what you're thinking. I can only assume things, but most of the people assume something different from what another person thinks. We cannot
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Most likely, like 95% of our assumptions are wrong. So why to assume anything if you can actually ask and get an answer, you
Yeah.
know?
Okay. So, if we're coming back to the question about marketing, how does marketing in Mexico works? I mean, for example, you did brand awareness campaign, and there is some creativity team, like in-house team, or how does it work? How did you find your team?
So I've tried their both options. First, we hired the agency. It was a very small agency, and I think it was about 6 or 7 years ago. So when digital marketing wasn't as big yet, you know, I
Yeah.
think they were also starting. I would say I've learned with them along the way certain things, but maybe something was not done right, but there was not much success, to be honest. And that's when I decided that I would want to create an in-house team. But then again, so many challenges, you know, and you have to really have a good manager, you know, for that team, not only who has all the professional skills and knowledge
Like
in
hard
marketing.
skills.
Yes, but also the skills of managing people, super important. And unfortunately, that team leader, right, the marketing manager, that was the issue where the team was not really doing what he wanted, you
Oh.
know. So
Didn't find a contact with the team or
somehow,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
this?
somehow, like even though he knew everything, there was a good base of knowledge of how things work, what should be done, but to get it done was an issue. And then we started again searching for the agency because we thought maybe usually in the agency also, if one designer is not available, is not doing the job, right, there's another one.
Yeah.
Like you can always find the replacement, or you know, there's way more options.
And flexibility.
Exactly. So if the one person, like you don't really have to do all this job and hire someone and do things, right? Like you guys do it for us, basically.
We doing, yeah.
It
And
definitely simplifies the life. And I think till the moment that the agency becomes very big, I will keep with this option, you know, of just having a team that I can trust.
Outhouse.
Outhouse agency that would take care of everything.
okay, yeah. And you see, sometimes I'm discussing with my projects as well with another marketing managers, like it's my community. So, and about difference between hiring agency or hiring in-house team. So in-house team is very good. It's really perfect, and it gonna work, and it will pay you back because the marketing existing. Yes,
Yeah.
to pay back money,
Yes, of
right?
course.
So yes, it takes time, but anyway. So, but in-house team, it's much more expensive, even just for the beginners as well. So just when you don't have a big business, I mean, just this like ROI and so on, and you need to hire people, for example, full time and so on, it will cost much more. Even in Dubai, for example, we had a calculation how much money will it cost for a real estate agency
To actually
like
have their own team.
in-house team. My God,
A
so
lot of
just
money.
yeah, the agency has to have the almost 30 agents, brokers, and everyone has to have
Make sales and
one
everything.
deal per month.
Per month.
It's
Wow.
it's too much.
Yeah,
It's really big. It's kind of dream for some agencies to grow to these sizes, right? But only in this case, this in-house marketing team can work. Otherwise, it will cost a lot, and you will work for marketing team, not not for yourself.
Exactly.
So in this case, it's much more better to have kind of, okay, for someone it works freelancers, for someone works agencies. It depends on business, depends on
Yeah, for sure.
a lot of things.
But I feel like the big benefit of working with an agency is that, especially if the agency has been there on the market already for a while, the diversity of the experience of clients that they had, so how many things they have seen, different tools that they've worked with, it kind of has many more opportunities to diversify what you do in a way. Like that's why, for me it was very, very important when I saw you guys working, with many clients here in Dubai, not somewhere else, for example, right? So okay, the market, you know the businesses, but you also know the consumers. This is super important, because if I hire just someone who has a lot of experience but not in Dubai, for example, this is different. That's why, for example, in Latin America I have a team in Mexico, right? They're Mexican people knowing Mexican people.
Yeah.
They
Also,
can get into their head.
contacts. You understand their needs. For example, they're looking for a man because of 1, 2, 3. Here, looking for a man or for a woman because of 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
At least it's networking. It's networking. It's
True.
a good context, because, for example, I can bring you someone who wants, for example,
Also,
right?
yeah.
So because I know these people, because we are people, know each other, humanity, and so on, communities. Yeah. So and it's really good when you can see each other face to face. For example, visit office, can understand how does it works like in real life. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, let's come back to the question about Mexico team. So how did it work, and how does it work now?
It's working, and I must say that the majority of our clients that we get are from the social media. All the advertisement that we do there,
It's
it works.
also reels. It's also what is the funnel? If you can share it,
no,
of course.
Of course, because it's everything. We do different kinds of advertisement, but mainly it's videos and even pictures. They work as well, right? But the process there is super easy, and it's similar to what it is here. People seeing the ad see what it is, the service, right? They go and register on the website, and we receive the information about someone, and we register them already officially in the agency. We like accept them as a client, because sometimes they may register but they're like not divorced yet but just separated. We cannot work with those kind of people, for example. They have to be
This is
single
very
or
important
divorced.
point,
Yeah,
right?
but sometimes I understand those people. They can say, oh my god, my divorce, it's been lasting 5 years and we haven't lived together forever, and he's in another country or something like that, right? But she's not officially divorced, so we cannot work with her.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. And so, but what really interesting thing. So you see, for example, in Mexico, you have like business processes that not works around you. I mean, around your personal branding and so on, right? So just it's kind of automatically.
It also started. I hope that in Dubai it's going to be the same. Now I work as Alla Match by Alla, right? My personal brand here. But in the end, to be able to expand and help many more people, I will have to have the bigger agency here, right? And then also, it's like a nice, I don't know, we women, we like to go beauty salons, right?
Right.
And you don't want to just have one specific person. You like those places that no matter who does anything to you, they're good, right? So I always want to create this in my business as well, that it doesn't matter whether I am a matchmaker or there are other matchmakers working with my clients, they will know they will get the same good service.
Quality.
You know, and of course in Mexico at first I started also just me, Alla, as a matchmaker, bringing my experience from Ukraine and talking about my own personality, why I do things, right, how it works and stuff like that. But then it just transformed, and I think this is always, unless you're a huge brand, you cannot just enter the market and say, buy me. Nobody knows who you are. And people connect better with other people rather than other brands, right? It's just...
This is the reason why personal brand works.
Yeah. But again, it's awesome, but it's also limiting if you want a big scale of things, you know? So when I make things grow, that definitely has, you know, I have to be eliminated from the picture. Because, you know, I only have 24 hours a day. If I make meetings, if I do anything like personalized search by myself, I can only help a certain amount of people. But if I want to grow 10, 20, 100 times, I have to hire a team.
Yeah. So, you see, but anyway, it's a good point for a start. But I mean, when you start in Ukraine, then in Mexico, then here, everything began from your personality, because you're this kind of person, active, positive, and you're sharing these good stories, and you understand what people need. So it's a really good thing, and they start to trust you. Then they speak about you, about you itself, not about brand, because it's not
True. In the beginning.
it's not a brand right now. But then when you're just becomes bigger and bigger, so you can hire a team, and then it's kind of brand, because you need to place these people anywhere, just Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. At least landing
page. But
it's
it's also, you know, I always think that the greatest businessmen always plan long term, right? And while I'm young, of course, I can do all the work and everything. But then the business that I do, I think it's going to exist for 100,000 years. Doesn't matter.
Yes, 100%.
It's not one of those businesses that with the evolution, with all the, you know, improvements of technology or something is going to disappear. Maybe something, I don't know, like in the virtual world.
AI will.
Yeah, there are some chances, but I tend to believe that, you know, people will need a matchmaker always.
Yeah, very
Even
nice.
to match them with a proper AI.
Yeah, just, I don't know, I really am scared of it, like AI will like replace everything. So
I mean,
no, of
we
course
just
no.
don't know what's gonna happen.
Nobody knows.
That's why, of course, there's a lot of fear, because we can predict something really good, you know, and what if it's something bad? But for me, I always want to, like, my goal is to build the company in a way that whether I'm there or whether I'm not, it's gonna exist, it's gonna do its mission, because my company's mission is my mission in life as well. So I want to make sure that everything's working in the way that it's working properly without me as well. You know, that is why we even have like an academy for matchmakers.
Oh,
right?
really?
In-house, we don't just invite people, but since matchmaker is not really something you study at the university or college or something, right?
Unfortunately, or
you
fortunately,
have to go through training, a special kind of training, to know what you have to do. Of course, there are certain skills that a person has to possess in order to become a matchmaker. But that's what we do in Mexico. We have an in-house like educational months for the people who start working. They come from scratch, they start from zero, and then they gain all the knowledge how to actually work as a matchmaker. And I think the more matchmakers we have, the more people we will help, right? So even if I'm not there right now, the agency is working. The same thing is here. Because, today I'm alive, tomorrow I might not.
Oh, yes.
I also do extreme sports, so you never know.
Really? Okay.
But this is the thing, Yes, it's very important to plan for the future, but sometimes, life plays out not the way we expect it to. So we have to be prepared. And if, for me, for example, it's truly important what I do, right? And I really love my job. I really love, I don't think I work an hour a day, even an hour. Because
it's not a job.
Because
it's
it's so much fun what I do. Of course, sometimes you have to look through financial reports and numbers and whatever, but I kind of find it still fun because it all helps the company to grow, right? And every part of the business is important. But that's when I truly think that, okay, whatever you do, you set it up and you make sure it works. And then, of course, when it comes not your personal brand, but brand of the company, of your business, that's, I think, when you succeed, when people recognize it, and when they go for the brand and they know no matter, because it doesn't have to be only Dubai, right? I can also be in different other cities that are similar, where people also have difficulty meeting someone. We can be there as well, and I don't have to be there personally, but people will just go and apply and use the services because of the brand, and that's, of course, I'm working on this. I hope it's gonna happen.
Yeah, wish you everything of it.
Thank you.
So, and you see, for example, when you're becoming bigger, you're just hiring team and so on, agencies, whatever. So just what is important for you? What is important for you in people with whom you work? Doesn't matter, in-house, out-house, whatever. So Yeah, that's it. Please.
The first thing that usually catches me like this, when I see, I'll tell you, when we first met, when I came to the office, right, and we spoke, and I saw a sparkle in your eye about the dating and relationship, and you're like, I know myself, what it's like, so you kind of can relate to it, and you feel for it.
Okay.
So whenever I hire someone, whether it's even web app developer or whatever, right, I see the interest in a relationship with the problem that we're solving. And if I see that connection, that's when I hire a person. That's when I want to work with them, because I see they care.
Yeah.
Anything else, any kind of hard skills you can learn. I can learn so many things in life, and I've learned throughout my career, different
You
things.
at least learned how does Facebook work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
if I need to learn something, those things you can learn, but you cannot learn passion. You cannot learn empathy. You
empathy,
cannot learn
it's very important.
Truly, when people feel related to the cause, right? And for me, this is the most important. Sometimes I talk to people, and even marketing agencies or something, they care about numbers, they care about how much budget I'm gonna, put into that, and they don't really ask me about things that are related to the solution of the problem. They're just talking about numbers and some very, very technical specifics and whatever, and I'm like, it's so cold, it's so detached from the process. And maybe I'm asking too much, I don't know, but this is how I function. This is how I'm used to people at the agency as well. We feel for our clients, we truly want to help. And that's when I see, okay, when people, or they take it as a personal challenge in a way, oh, nobody could do this for you, I'm gonna do this for you. That is also fun. That is also another criteria that I can see, that people, they love challenges, and they see, because usually finding clients for our agency is a difficult task, because not everybody would be interested, but not everybody would commit to become a client.
Yes, you see. So, for example, I can get it because I have some some really different stories about the attitude and approach, because some of the clients, some of the like businesses, they also care about, for example, somewhere people more cares about product, about attitude and approach and services. Somewhere care more about numbers, about statistics and everything just about it, right? Business more about it. And you see, it's I think it's also kind of matchmaking, because people are different. And also in our agency there are a lot of different people, because somebody obsessed of numbers, Excels and everything. Oh my God, please, I want to take 2 or something like this. Yes, somebody obsessed with the people relationships, for example, just talking. It's inspiring, and it helps to create some unregular ideas, something, creativity and so on. And it's also just depends on people, who you find, who will match or not match. Something like this.
Yeah, you have to match, but it's great when you complement each other in a way,
like puzzle,
right? Yeah. So everybody does something different, and together you actually build like a nice machine. But that's ideal, right? So in the very beginning, of course, if that's 2 people, and if you said like the business and the agency, the marketing agency, right? It depends. Like if both have the same values
and vision,
then it's vision, and for what they're going to create together, right? Then they match. But if certain, like the agency wants one thing and the business wants another thing, it's very difficult not to be aligned.
We have different directions.
So and it happens.
Like
it happens.
In relationships.
True.
Like really like in relationships. And I think I really like about everything about it, because it's a real life. Because somebody thinks that it's about business, so just everything about business and about numbers, because everybody needs like ROI and so on. Yes, of course, obviously, but it's it's the main goal, but something different. You have good connection. You have like something that can inspire
the
you,
reputation as well,
and reputation as well. Yes, and also I'd like to discuss some reputation things. It's really interesting topic. So something different, something additional, like additional approach, attitude, relationships, become a friends. Why not? So just it's a really cool for me. For me, it's a kind of high level when you can be in a like business relationships, like work and kind of friends or something, have fun and so on, but everything in a normal way, of course. And yes, about reputation, because you see what I noticed, that for example in Russia or CIS countries, the Institute of Reputation doesn't work like works here. So have you noticed or not?
In a way, yes, because I think power play is a little different, right? In our countries where we're from, there's I would say less of maybe like fair distribution of power. So there are certain people who control everything, and no matter what your reputation is, they're in power, they're in charge, so they do what they want in a way. But where people have a little more freedom, a little more liberty of things and choices, and many more choices as well, less monopoly of things, then the reputation becomes more important, because people have so much choice and access to all the other products like yours. So unless you build the reputation, they're not like, nobody's forcing them to use your product, right?
Reputation works
so
on
they
you.
they will do it, they will use your service, they will use your product only because they really like it and they think it solves their problem. That's it. Not because somebody told them to do that,
Yeah.
or they have no other choice because this is the only thing you can buy on the market, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's it. So probably just one last question, one last crazy story, probably crazy and
If I have any.
crazy or interesting story that really really curious.
Let me think. Because I want to relate it to the businesses a little bit, you know? In Dubai, doing business in Dubai, I'm also learning a lot of different things because it's so diverse, the city itself. So many different, almost 100 different nationalities living here, right? Or something like that. So I honestly did not expect it,
Okay.
right? Like I'm so used to working, okay, first it was like Ukrainian women, American men, Latin American women. I know all about them because also I've lived there for 10 years, so it's easier. But there's not, new information coming inside all the time. And here, it was maybe second client of mine that he's a Muslim man and he wanted 2 wives.
Oh.
First of all, I've never found 2 wives.
Okay,
It was always been
it's a one more challenge. One more challenge.
I was like, okay, that's interesting. But then there are different traditions on how you have to arrange that. So it was an interesting, challenge. And then I found out that it's not an uncommon thing here, because the man wanted, he lives in between 2 countries and spends a lot of time in Dubai and a lot of time in another country. And so he wanted, of course, both women to be aware. It's not that Dubai story when he has 2 families, but none is aware of another. Those, unfortunately, thank God for myself, for my clients, I've never, faced that. But I've heard those stories, and unfortunately, women usually tell me those kind of stories. So my story is better. Both women were fully aware of what's going on, and it was just like a full arrangement between them 2, how much time he spends in one country and how much in Dubai, and just that. And that was it was unusual for me, just because that culture is not something I've grew up in, and just like, how does it work? Like I had to consult with other women, with other men who are in this kind of, marriages.
It's also awkward because it's...
I guess
No?
it wasn't really awkward for me, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I always say, if there is a direct communication about everything within the people who you do business with, build a relationship with, nothing is awkward. Awkward is something hidden, something not discussed properly, and then it comes out and you're like, you don't know what to do because your expectations were set in a different way. I loved the directness, of the approach of my client, and I loved the openness that he had. And he's like, I understand, I have to do this, I just need women who are 100% open to this, and like that. So that was a new experience for me. I cannot say, it's definitely not bad experience, but very unusual. Very unusual, because I was like, do I have to find 2 wives? Double trouble.
Okay, double trouble, double work.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's just something, I guess, typical for Dubai, because there's still,
And the question is, but these difficulties, I mean, for example, there are multiple nationalities, there are multiple, for example, Muslims, Christian, and so on. How does it work in matchmaking? Because so it's a really sensitive point.
It is sensitive, and it is a very important point for a lot of people. So how to, we only can ask them who they are and what they want, and basically offer them whatever works for them, whatever they think, right? So even when we organize the events, and we know that there are some Muslim people who are open to other religions, right? There are Muslim people, for example, who want only Muslim like Muslim men would want only Muslim women. There is, I don't know, some people who are spiritual and they actually don't want anyone religious at all. You know, so we have to get that information, and then only we gather those people together. So I think this is the big advantage, that it's just not random people coming, and out of, imagine you have in a room 100 single people, 50 men, 50 women, right? And then out of those 50 compatible with you, maybe 3. That's not that productive, right?
Right.
But you may have not 100, but like 50 people there in a room. So 25 of the opposite gender. And then since they were pre-matched already by our team, right? Then you think, oh, maybe you have 10, 15 people who are more interesting, more compatible.
But you know these
Of
people
course, we
before,
get the information.
before when you just come to the event, for
Yes.
example, just
They
you're sending profile
pre-register.
or something.
Yes, they pre-register on our website. They have to fill out the form, you know, put in their like nationality, religion, age, of course, because, you know, some people of 25 will not be interested in people of 55 or something like that, you know.
Who knows?
It's not common.
But okay,
Of
yeah,
course,
it's
we
not
get different
common.
requests,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But there are still some average statistics. So people have to pre-register. People have to tell us what they want so that we give them what they want.
Right.
Otherwise, how
right.
can we, right? If we don't know. And yes, it takes a little more time, but you know, it's worth it, because then I can see many more dates after because I don't want those events to be only just like a party. There's so many party places in Dubai.
Yes.
You don't have to go to the dating event for that, to dance or something, right? You go to the dating event to meet your potential partner. That's it. So I want to increase the chances of every single person who goes to those events to actually succeed with their goal, you know? And of course have fun, of course dance to the music, but first of all, meet interesting people, because this is what they struggle with. This is what they come and complain about, that there's no good people,
About
there's no
quality
decent men.
of meetings
Exactly.
as well.
Exactly.
Okay. And how many? Have you calculated how many dates overall did you
Dates. To be honest, it's not that
Or
many for
pairs.
now, so I can actually calculate in my head, because
I mean, not only in Dubai. Not only
yeah,
in
okay.
Dubai. Just
In Dubai, I can, because I arrange
okay.
them all myself here, right?
Okay.
But in general, of course, we do up to 300 dates in Mexico per year.
Per year.
Yes, it's usually every other day, right? We have a date, but there it's more difficult, because men usually come from the United States, so they travel to another country. That is why sometimes I'm like surprised people in Dubai cannot meet for 2 weeks. You know, they cannot
Really?
find time. I'm like, you know, guys, some other people just fly abroad, you know, 5-6 hours for a date,
Oh
you know,
my
and you
God.
cannot take 20-minute Uber to go somewhere. Come on. So, but here, not that many. Here, maybe 2 dates per week, I would say, for now, you know, because it's just myself, and I still have to develop my personal brand. Reels creation and everything, it takes time. So as soon as that part is, more stable and already continues working without me, I hope that I will have much more time, you know, to do more of matchmaking. Because for me, I can even do it for free. Like,
Yeah.
it's just fun, because I go through my database and I know, because there are people who register for free. The majority of the database, right, like the majority of the people there, they just register for free, and they wait for the paying
From
client.
the content
you know, yeah.
and so on.
But sometimes I just see people, and I'm like, they're such a perfect match. You know, I just should text them. I do it sometimes, to be honest. I'm just like, you know, like, nobody paid of them. I don't care. But I can see that this guy could be like a really good match for that girl. I was like, do you like him? And she's like, yeah. So I started
not?
introducing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, if you want, guys, you can go on a date.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
It's-
nice.
It's randomly when I just like going through all the database if I do it. Of course, if I intentionally spend time and do it, I'm like, okay, sorry, I have to charge you.
Okay, got it. So I think that's it. Really, thank you so much. Thank you for the really good conversation.
Anna.
It was really interesting. So wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Well, I really hope that, somehow my journey with all the, like, it's always difficult to find a good marketing specialist to work with and promote your business. I have heard that from so many other business owners, it's usually like a painful subject. Where do you find
big
them?
Challenge.
Yes, to be honest. So I think if in any way my comments help someone to make some choices, make some decisions, and they will fruit, with good results, why not? I mean, I'm very happy to help. And of course, if anybody hears about Matchmaker and decide to use one, you're welcome.
Yeah.